Oh boy. I feel so far away. All right, good morning, guys. How are you feeling today? Good? Some of us got our workout in. Some of us are going to work out after. Some of us are not working out today, which is great. Woo. So the flow that I built today is going to kind of target the front body and the shoulders, like chest, kind of hip flexors, and then the back body with like the hamstrings, calves, lower back, and all of that. And part of the goal of the flow is to help you recover from the Sunday Fun Day workout. This Sunday is Riley. Lots of running. So we got 3 miles of running total and 150 burpees. That's a lot of burpees. So with a workout that's got a lot of volume like that of one movement, so you could also say something like 150 wall ball shots, right? The accumulative fatigue plus the movement, doing the movement 150 times is going to mean that you're going to be sore. And not much you can do about that. It's just a lot of volume. So when we're moving through today, if you're sore from the week prior to training, we have the blocks, we've got the bands. Use that to help you get into positions that feel, hi guys, good morning, that feel good, but that you also do feel a stretch. Okay? And we're going to start on our backs today. Make sure you have the band kind of off to the side and handy. We don't need it yet, but just want to make sure that we have it available to us. And we're going to start all the way on the back. Oh. And I want you to keep your feet flat on the floor, but a little wider than your hips, so your knees can kind of fall in towards each other and just kind of hang out, okay? And then arms go anywhere that's comfortable. So maybe they go on the belly, maybe they go alongside the waist. Maybe you want to bring them overhead and just have them lay on the ground. Wherever it feels most comfortable for you to find a smooth breath. Just go through about 5 rounds here on your own. Just beginning to breathe through the nose, noticing if it's stuck anywhere and trying to breathe through some of that stiffness. Couple more breaths. Try to take that breath from the tailbone. And as you inhale, feel that inhale travel all the way up the spine, through the top of the head, just so that we can visualize a longer breath. And then from the top of the head on the exhale goes all the way back down to the tailbone. Use that visual to slow the breath down, to create that longer breath. And next, continuing to breathe through the nose. Let those arms go out wide like a T, palms up. And then you're just going to let both knees, keep the feet where they are, both knees fall over to the right side. We're going to do some like windshield wiper knees. And then bring them over to the left side, nice and slow. You're going to go back and forth like that 4 or so times. And then each time trying to relax the knees closer to the floor. Don't push them down, just see if you can allow gravity to do a little bit of work here. And go ahead and reset your knees to that neutral position. Okay. And just kind of feet are in line with the hips, knees are stacked over the feet. We'll just kind of take a couple more breaths here. I want you to take a big inhale through the nose all the way to the top of that inhale. And then open the mouth side out. Let's do that again. Big inhale. And let it go. Good. Now bringing the knees to the chest. Give them a little squeeze. Rock side to side. Massage the lower back. Now grabbing your band, Let's wrap the band around the arch of your right foot. We're going to let the right foot stay up towards the sky. The left leg will extend to the ground. Okay. And the band is there so that the upper body can relax, and you can use the band to help you bring the leg closer to your face. So your shin is trying to reach towards your forehead. You're trying not to necessarily pull with the upper body, but walking the hands up the band so that just holding the band puts you in the right spot. So find that softness where you can so that you're focusing just on the tension and the stretch. And if it feels okay, you can play around with turning your right toes out towards 2 o'clock and maybe in towards 10 o'clock, and notice the different stretches you feel there. You can also flex your foot a little harder or point your toe a little bit or relax the foot at least. So you can kind of feel what happens to the calf stretch when you move your foot. Good. Now placing both sides of the band into your right hand and then allowing your left arm to go out to the side like that half T so that you have something to anchor against as you let your right knee fall over to the right. We're going to feel this like inner thigh stretch. And we just want that leg to fall as far as it'll go. Good. Now bringing that leg through center. Let's bring the band into the other hand. Okay, so here's the special part of this one. We have two different stretches here. First one, a little bit more targeted around the IT band area. So you're going to keep your right lower back on the floor, and then you're just going to allow the right leg to fall over to the left without letting the lower back lift. If you feel your lower back lift, you've gone a little too far. So keep the back on the floor and just let the leg fall to the left a little bit, and you'll feel a little tension along the outer edge of your right leg. The goal is not stretching the IT band. We don't need to stretch it. It's the surrounding muscles that pull against the IT band that can make it feel tight and stiff. So we're trying to open up some of those spots that are connected to the band. All right, and from here, you can allow now your lower back to lift. Let that leg fall all the way to the opposite side for a twist. Your right arm can go out like that half T, and it's just allowing yourself to sink into the stretch a little bit. Try to allow some softness in the front of the right shoulder. Instead of pushing it down to the floor, you're just relaxing the front of the shoulder. All right, next inhale. Let's bring that leg through the middle. And then we'll switch the band into the other foot. So reach your left leg up, swap the band, and then right leg will come back down. We'll start with the hamstring stretch. So band in each hand. And then begin to play around with the toe angle. So like turn it out towards 10 o'clock or in towards 2 o'clock. Flexing the foot a little more or relaxing and just finding where your tension is and stretching it out. All right, now placing the band into the left hand. The right arm goes out to the side like a half T. And then you let your right leg fall, or sorry, your left leg, excuse me, fall all the way over to the left. Inner thigh stretch. Bringing the leg through center. And you're going to place the band into the right hand. This is the IT focus stretch. So keep your left lower back on the floor. And then allow that left leg to fall over to the right only as far as you can keep the lower back down. So that you can feel the outer edge of your left leg. And now allow that leg to fall all the way over to the right for a twist, and then left arm out. Just try to find some softness here. All right, bringing that leg back through center, nice and slow. Unhooking the band and then just giving both knees a squeeze to the chest. Make little circles one way with the knees and the other. And then slowly begin to rock forward and back. Little rocks to start. And then big enough to get you to a hands and knees position. So finding your way to cat-cow. Okay. So let's go. That comfortable hands and knees. And hands about shoulders distance, knees about hips distance. And start moving that spine. First by dropping the belly and kind of sending the tailbone up, lifting the chest. And then the opposite, which would be pushing through the palms and tucking the tailbone under to round the back, chin to chest. And then arch and lift and round. And go through a couple more like this. You can add like side to side, some full like body rolls. Cool. All right, and from here, single leg child's pose. You're going to take your right foot and just send it out to the right, toes forward. From here, just sit your hip down towards your left heel. Okay. Now, this might be enough. If it's not quite enough, you can shimmy your right foot out to the right a little bit more to open up this inner thigh position, but keep sitting back. Okay. All right, go ahead and come onto the hands and just shimmy that right leg back towards that home position. And then we'll go to the other side, sending your left leg out. Ooh. Sit the hips back first, and then from there we can wiggle the left leg out if we need to. And then just find that inner thigh stretch on the left side. All right, shimmying that left leg back. Coming back to that hands and knees position. A little wiggle of the hips side to side. And then let's use the block. Everybody, I think, should have a block handy. And we're going to go into a chest stretch. We've been doing this. I've been really liking this one because I find that the block assistance gives you more access to a deeper stretch if you need it. So we're going to take that block off to the right. Okay, so if I'm in my hands and knees position, I can still touch the block all the way off to the side on the right side. Okay, and I'm going to place my right palm on that block. And I'm going to take the front of my chest and I'm going to drop it down towards the floor. So then I'm going to kind of turn my torso to the left side. Okay. So I've got my right hand on the block. My right shoulder is reaching down as my left chest is turning to the left. And then play around with the angle that you need to feel the stretch. So maybe you need to set the hips down a little bit, drop the chest more. Just play around with how to get the stretch that feels good for you. Good, and on your inhale, just a gentle release out of that. And then swapping sides. Okay. So again, starting on the hands and knees and then making sure that you can at least touch the block with your left hand if it's out to the side. Then we put the palm flat. And then again, it's dropping the left shoulder down and then turning the right side of the torso more towards the right. All right, inhale. And we'll bring you up and out of that. And then the block, we're going to use the block for the next series. And so make sure the block is just off to the side so where you can easily grab it. Okay. And we're going to go into our first downward facing dog. So hands about shoulders distance again now. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Ooh, okay. Go ahead and pedal out those feet. Oh, man. And maybe a little bit of a hold each time you pedal it out. So like 2 or 3 counts on one side and then 2 or 3 counts on the other. Cool. And now let's reset our down dog so that our feet are hips distance. The heels are kind of reaching down for the ground and the hips are reaching up towards the ceiling. Now step your right foot to the outside of the right hand and then bring your back knee down. Okay. Coming into Spiderman. So maybe we feel like this is enough. Maybe we need to come down to the floor. You can go forearms to the ground or use your block to get you into a position where that upper body can be a little relaxed. Now this right knee can also fall towards that right side to create a different type of stretch. You might feel more inner thigh on that. So just kind of play around with where this right leg needs to be so that you feel the stretch in this position. Good. Let's go ahead and come onto the hands. Keep the block handy. Just shimmy that right foot more between the hands. Okay. And then we're going to come into a low lunge. So from here, the goal is to feel the stretch in the front of the left thigh. So just soften down towards the floor. Keep a little tension in your abs so that your lower back isn't kind of crunched. A little tension there so that you can soften the front of the hip. And then from here, let's go left arm up. Lift through that left arm and then lean over to the right. Keep lifting and reaching through that left hand. Good. All right, hands come down and then block. We're going to come into half split. So block can be there underneath the front knee. Shimmy the front foot forward and then flex. Okay. We can use the block for support, or fingertips can come all the way to the floor. Okay. And trying to keep your right toes pointing towards the ceiling is going to give you the best stretch in the middle of that hamstring complex. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and rebend that front knee. And then hands go inside of that front leg, and we just swoop, swing it around. Block, handy but off to the side, back to down dog. And then just pedal out those heels again, but notice how that right side feels. Feels a lot better, or hopefully feels a lot better. Well, let's do the second side. Left foot steps to the outside of the hand, and then the knee comes down. And then we use our block however we need to. And then we can allow that left knee to fall over to the left side if we want to create that more open position. Good. All right, coming onto the hands. Let's shimmy in that front foot into our low lunge, so between the hands. Okay. And then again, this part we're trying to soften here, so using the other parts of the body to stabilize so that we can release through the front of your right hip. Tension through your abs to keep that lower back feeling good. And then taking your right arm, lifting it up, and then reaching it to the ceiling before we lean to the left. Good. Bringing the arm down. And then let's sit the hips back into that half split. Block under the knee if we need a little extra height and support. And then flexing that left foot. Good. All right. Let's go ahead and bring that block off to the side. Swing the leg around. We go back to down dog. And notice if things are more even now. So this left side doesn't feel like the right side. You kind of wiggle the hip side to side. Some shoulder shrugs. Good. Now let's separate your feet about the width of the mat. And then you're going to walk your hands all the way back towards your toes for a slightly wider position for our fold here. So a little bend of the knees. Let the torso soften so it's just hanging. And then you can grab your elbows, maybe sway side to side. Good. Now releasing the hands, bring them to the hips, and just gently stand all the way up. Good. You guys stay where you are. I'm turning. Bring your feet together. We're going to come into a mountain stretch. So first thing, you're going to grab your right wrist with your left hand. You're going to reach up, and then we're going to lean over to the left, or to the left. Which way? Oh, sorry. Did I do that backwards? You guys are this way. We're going to go this way. So you're going to go up and over to the right. So you're using your right hand to kind of pull at the left arm. You should feel a big stretch. Yeah, good. Yeah. Good. And then through center. Switch the bind and then up and over to the other side. Yeah, good. So really pulling against that right wrist. Good. And bringing it down. Grab your band. Okay. Classic pass-throughs. We've got about 10. So hands nice and wide on the band. And 10. Arnold, do you want a little less band, or is that okay? It's okay. It's nice with the PVC because your hands can go really wide. Couple more. Good. Okay. So the next pose we're going to come into is a wide leg forward fold with a shoulder stretch. Now, we have the band for assistance. If, though, you can, interlace your fingers behind the back and then extend and hold them, then we won't need the band. But I understand that you guys got muscles and tight muscles. So if we need the band, we can use it. And so we would just grab it behind, okay? And then it would be squeeze shoulder blades and extend, okay? So whichever version we've got today, we're gonna grab the band or clasp the hands. Our feet are gonna go double wide. You can turn either side or just have feet off the mat, whichever works, okay? We're gonna just roll the shoulders back and down. Chest is going to lift as we start to bow forward. I want the weight a little bit more towards the toes, and then you're going to let your hands come up and over the head. Maybe they're clasped together, maybe they're in the band, but let those hands fall up and over the head. Good. Relaxing the neck if you can, so that head is dropping. Good. There we go. Good. And gently bringing yourself up out of that. Good. Unclasp the hands or the band, and then that can go off to the side. We're going to need our block. So just have your block handy. And we're going to come into pyramid. And so we'll start with our wide leg position. So I think let's have you guys face that way. Okay. And we're going to begin on the left side. Okay. Or sorry, that right side. So you're going to turn your right toes forward towards me. And then your back toes are going to turn in a little bit, but the heel will be down. Okay. Then let's just widen the stance a little bit. So think about our split jerk, right, where our feet are a little bit wider. And then you're going to turn and making sure your torso is turned towards me. So take your whole torso and your hips and square them towards the front of the mat. There we go. Okay. From here, we can reach down, either hands to the floor, or if we need that block, go ahead and use that block for a little balance. But we're trying to take this right hip and kind of scoop it in towards the left hip. Push some extra weight into your right big toe. Good. All right, so what we're going to do on the transition is we're just going to walk our hands through center. Maybe you bring your block with you, and then you're going to turn all the way to the back of the room, back of your mat, into the pyramid on the second side. So your left toes are forward, your right heel is on the floor, and you've squared your position and your torso and your hips towards the front of the mat. I'm sorry, the back of the mat now. And then the block is there if you need it. Awesome. All right, so we're going to move the block off to the side, and you guys are going to walk your hands through center towards the front of the mat, and then find your way to downward facing dog. Okay, so you'll rotate all the way around and then get back into down dog. Cool. All right, coming into pigeon. So let's bring our right knee towards our right wrist and then bring the shin down. Okay. We open the position by scooting the back leg back. Okay. Blocks are helpful so that the body's not holding you in this position. So if we can create a position where we're really relaxed, maybe that's on a block or not, that's going to be really helpful in allowing the body to accept the position, but then open up into that position. So breathing smoothly here through the nose, maybe closing the eyes just to downshift a little bit more. All right, coming on to the hands. I'm going to move that block off to the side if you were using one. And we're just going to find our way back to downward dog. When you get there, you're going to lift your right leg up. And we're going to try to shake it out a little bit. You can bend the knee. You can make big circles. Good. And bringing that right leg down. Let's go to the second side. So left knee now towards left wrist. This side might feel different, right? So honor the difference, and if you need assistance or not, go with it, right? Like, and we'll just kind of breathe into this. Find some softness. All right, slowly coming onto the hands, finding your way back to downward dog, lifting the left leg up to shake it out. Good. And then from here, we're just going to bring the knees down to the ground, swing our feet around. And then going for a forward fold here. So let's extend the legs out. For those that feel pretty flexible today, if you find it not too bad to like touch your toes, one way to intensify this is to put the block on the other edge of the toes so that you have to reach farther, okay? So this is going to be a little bit weird, but just go with it. So move your muscles out of the way so you really feel the sit bones sit on the floor, okay? So you get really good grounding into the ground with the sit bones, and then sit up tall. Flex your feet so your toes point to the ceiling, and then you're going to reach. Okay, keep that spine a little bit more extended than just kind of sinking into it. All right. So you feel a little bit more pull on the hamstrings. And then now if you want to lay into it and kind of round all the way, maybe this is the time where the block comes out so that you have a little extra to reach for. Up to you. Good. All right, on your inhale, go ahead and sit the torso up. And then we're going to roll onto our back. When you get there, we're going to come into happy baby. So we're going to grab the outer edges of the feet with the elbows inside of the knees. And then stack those feet on top of the knees so that as you pull down, you feel that stretch and those hips kind of pushing to the ground as the knees drop. And you can play around here, straightening the leg together or one at a time. Good. Now releasing that, bring the knees to the chest and give them a squeeze. Find your block now, and we're going to come into a supported, it's not a shoulder stand, but it's supported legs up. So you're going to go lower, or so the block is going to go underneath your lower back. Okay, so you should feel kind of your tailbone have a good flat spot to rest on the block. Okay, and once you get there, both legs will go up towards the ceiling. And we're just going to let them hover there for a couple rounds of breath. Good. Now slowly bringing your feet down towards the floor and then removing the block from underneath the hips. Slowly letting your low back descend to the ground. Hug the knees into the chest when you get there. Final stretch here, easy twist. So keeping the knees together, arms will go out like a T. And then on your exhale, we let the knees drop over to the right side. Gravity will do this last bit of work here, so soften into the position. Shoulders drop, legs are heavy. Bringing your knees through center, and then over to the other side. Bring the knees through center. Give them a squeeze to the chest. And then on your exhale, you extend the legs to the floor. Final rest here, so arms anywhere that's comfortable. Closing the eyes if they're not there already. And just finding some stillness for these last few moments. Slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Reach the arms overhead, full body stretch. And then when you feel ready, you'll roll to either side for just a quick break there. And then when you're ready, no rush, you'll find a comfortable seat. So spend just a moment or two in that position and then find your seat, sitting up tall, keeping the eyes closed. We'll take one final big inhale together and we'll sigh it out all together. All right, here we go. Inhale, big inhale. And open the mouth, sigh it out. Gently opening the eyes. Thank you guys for joining today and taking care of your bodies and, just doing the opposite of what we do when we train, which is, fast when we train, slow when we recover. So thank you. And then I'll see you guys next week for, something else fun.